Hi, Todd Dunn here on December 30th, 2019. Today I have a little home repair project to carry out because last night at about 11 o'clock my water softener here suffered a catastrophic failure. This is the bypass valve, and the housing for it cracked and the water pressure spit the fitting for the valve out and water started spraying out of here. I was already in bed. My wife thought the refrigerator was making a funny noise, so I came down to turn the water to the refrigerator off for the ice maker because we thought it sounded like water was running in the refrigerator. And when I got down here, water was spraying all the way across the room. And by the time I got over here and closed the bypass valves up here and turned the well off, I was completely soaked. So today, I got up early this morning and I went into town and I bought some. This is what I bought. It's a new water softener. So what I'm going to do today is take the old one out and put this one in to replace it because that one is dead. In addition to the fitting cracking, that crack acted like a siphon and it sucked all the ion exchange resin out of the resin tank. And I'll show it to you here. And that brown stuff on the floor is ion exchange resin. So I'm going to start today by cleaning up the ion exchange resin. It's dried out now. Last night it was a soupy mess. And then I'll remove the old water softener and put the new one in. The whole process, depending on how long it takes to clean up, should take a couple of hours. So let's get started. I'm not going to show you the cleanup because that's just going to be me crawling around on the floor scooping that stuff up. But I will show you the install procedure. Okay, before I pull the other water softener out, I'm going to unbox this one because my wife is gone right now, but she's going to want to put her car right back where this is sitting, and this is the best place to unbox it because, as you can see, it's kind of bulky. It's also heavy. This weighs about 100 pounds. So we'll do what we can to get it out of here. I think I'm going to have to tear the box open to do it. It shouldn't be too hard. Right there. And we will see what we can do about sliding it out of there. I may have to tilt it over and cut the bottom to get that to open up completely. Slide it a little bit. Here and cut the tape on the bottom. Okay. Now I should be able to pull this side open. There we go. Now I can just get it out of here. Okay, there it is, out of the box. Alright, I got the easily reached resin tidied up. So what I'm going to do now is disconnect this resin tank the rest of the way, which has got a few things to do. I've I've got this hose here to take off. I'm going to use a screwdriver to undo that. And then a couple of connections to undo. So let's go get some tools and get going. Okay, let's get this hose off, which should be pretty easy. Just undo the hose clamp and it should just pull off. The only thing that might make it a little difficult is that it is a rigid hose, not a soft hose. And I think I'm going to have to cut that. I think I'll just cut it off and we won't worry about taking it off properly. Okay, we can get that out of the way. And now before I take this off completely, I am going to change the filter in here. Because once I remove this, that filter assembly is going to be a little bit flexible until I get some sort of bracing on it. So I think the next step is to change that filter. It's about due. And you don't need to watch me change a water filter. They're pretty straightforward. And should do it. Now, I'm ready to break these connections and remove the old brine tank. Shouldn't be too hard. We should go that way. Use my big water pumps here. Give these a little turn. And do the other one. Okay. Now that's off. Now the only trick at this point is to pull this off without damaging my plumbing, because I know there are gaskets in here. I have to figure out how they're set. And they've been in here for 25 years, so they may be a little tricky to get out. Now that's going to come out okay there. There, that's out. Move my bucket. This is just water in the pipe up to this valve. Same over here. And we can take this guy out of here. It's quite light now because most of the resin is out of it. And at this point I can spend a couple minutes cleaning up some more of that resin. Then we will, once we get that done, bring the new water softener in. I've got to cut some fittings off here in order to get this to fit properly. It's just going to be a couple of cuts right here on either side, and then we'll be ready to put the new one in after I do the cleanup. So I'll do that, then come back. Test. I just used the Sawzall to cut the fittings off because I needed extra length and I couldn't get my pipe cutter in the gap. I'm just going to clean up the edges with the file, and then we will clean up the pipe for putting the new fittings on. This won't take long. Just a little bit there. Get this cleaned up. reasonably clean. Get any stuff out of it. Go around the inside to burr it a little. There you go. And we'll do the same on this one. Feels pretty good. Go around the inside here with the edge of the file to deburr it. Not bad. So, I think I'm okay there. How does it feel? Yeah, not bad. So the next step is just going to be to sand these pipes off so they're nice and smooth and clean for the new fittings to go on to. Okay, I'm doing this sanding and everything now because once I put the new water softener in, there won't be a lot of room here. I'm just sanding this with some 320 grit to get a nice surface for my new fittings to sit on. And I'll just take a minute or two to sand this down and get a decent surface. This piping has been here for 25 years, so it's pretty, a lot of surface corrosion. And we'll get it off of there. And the fitting I'm going to put on here needs 1 1/8 inches. So I got 1.5 inches on that one and 1 7/16 inches on that one, so I'm good. Now I think it's time to bring the other water softener in and start setting it up. Okay, the next step is to put the drain hose for the brine tank in case the brine tank overfills in, and it's pretty simple. Basically I just have to put a grommet in this hole, which I have here in my hand. Just have to force it in, like that. Get it in there. Like most grommets, it's a little hard to fit in the hole. Okay, and now we will put the fitting in. Slide into there. And now I can put the hose on, which will ultimately end up draining into this floor drain down here. Okay, the next step is to put the bypass valve in. That's what this is. And it basically just slides in here. I put a couple of O-rings that came with it on, and they're lightly greased with silicone grease. So this slides in here. It says to push it in as far as it will go. I'm not sure how far it's supposed to go. There we go. Just have to get that O-ring to seat. And then these clips fit in here. They're a little tricky, but okay, that's in there. Put the other one in. Just have to be careful not to overdo these and break them. Okay. So that is in there. This bypass valve works, well, it says pull, yeah, if you pull it out it's in operating mode, and if you push it in, it's in bypass mode. So that's all there is to it, in and out. So at this point, I'm ready to put the fittings that go in here in, and then we will be pretty much ready for the next step. So we will take this guy and we will rotate it around. Move it a little more, I think. And the final connections are two fittings that go in here, and then the connections to the pipes. Okay, the next step is to put these fittings in, but I'm going to attach the water connections first because these are free to turn and it'll be easy to put them on without after I connect the hoses. I'm just putting a little Teflon tape on here. This is a 1-inch NPT thread. And 1 or 2, that should do it. I'm going to have to get some more Teflon tape. I just ran out. Now we'll take this hose and screw that on. Take my water pumps here, give it a bit of a turn. Should do it. This is the inlet. So it fits in this side. Just slides in like that. And I will put a clip on it. And I'm going to have to move the thing to get this guy to fit. So I've got a little plastic clip somewhere around here that goes in my pocket. What do I do with it? Here it is. Okay, now we'll put a little Teflon tape on the other fitting, and here we're ready to go. And I'm going to put, well, it looks like I'm not going to put very much on. I don't have much. See if I've got, I think I might have a little more. I'll have to go look for it. I knew I had 2 rolls, but I seem to have used both of them up. Back in a second. Well, that's all I have. It isn't much, but it should be enough, I hope. And we can get this guy, the next fitting on, and screw, and then we'll tighten up both fittings a little bit and be ready to go. Actually, I'll tighten this one up now. Make sure it's good and tight. That should do it. And we'll put the other one on. It may be necessary to come back and retape these later. But we'll see. Put this a little snug down. Feels pretty good. Okay, O-rings on. use a little more grease. So that it'll slide right down in properly. That down far enough? No, I don't. There we go. And this clip will slide in here. Okay. So that's going to go over there, so I need to move this a little. That's the shortest fittings in this particular size that they had. Let's see how that's going to go. Okay, these are shark bite fittings. So basically they just slide in, and there's an O-ring, and that's seats. And that's that. So I'll do this one first, I think. Still going to want to move that guy a little further away. Oh, well, try this one. And this should just slide onto the pipe. And this one can come under here and go on there. That should do it. So those are hooked up, and I think I want to move this just a little further to get tension on that. So at this point, what I'm ready to do is check it to see if it leaks by turning the water on. So I'm going to turn my well back on and open some valves. And we're going to close this one, which is my bypass valve. Start letting a little water into the inlet here. And we'll open this one too. First thing that's going to happen is we're going to fill this filter housing. I think I'll put my bucket underneath it in case it leaks. Often does. Looks like it's going to a little. See if I can snug it down a little. So what we'll do here is bleed the air out of it. Well, the filter, as usual, is leaking. I could get it a little tighter, I think, which I'll have to try to do. But that isn't a big deal. but it's not leaking anywhere else. So, valves are all the way open. So what we can do right now is take this filter out of the system, bleed it off, and I'll see if I can snug it up a little. Usually what happens is this filter leaks a little when you first put it on, and then it stops. It's not a very good filter. Leaking quite a bit though. Now we'll leave it for a little while. So the system is not leaking anywhere else, even with my somewhat inadequate Teflon tape. Seems to be working. And it is push for bypass right now, so I'm going to open it up into the system. We're getting water in, and I don't see any leaks. So we are pretty much good to go. Well, that's it. New water softener is installed. The shark bite fittings made it really easy. So far no leaks, except still a little drip from this water filter, which I think will go away over the next day or two. And so she's ready to go. I think I have to go read the manual and see exactly what it says and see, you know, what I have to do. I think it might be a good idea to cycle it, and what I've been doing for the last little bit is transferring the brine from the old salt tank into here, and also transferring the salt that was in this old tank in, because I just last week put 40 pounds of potassium chloride in the old tank, and that's $40 worth of potassium chloride. So I will gradually break it up and move it all in here. I got maybe half of it in there now, and we'll see what it says. So I'm going to go read the manual and see if I can figure out what the next step is. So as of right now, no leaks, and I've run a little water, and you know, system seems to be working. I've still got to bleed some air out of it, but other than that, I think it's good to go. So that is what's involved in installing a new water softener, and the total time from when the old one blew out to having this one hooked up was 13 hours, and that included sleeping time, because nothing had been open at 11 o'clock last night, so I went into town and picked this up about 8 o'clock this morning. So, ready to go, and hopefully we'll have decent water. So I'm going to go read the manual and run water through my taps to flush out all the crappy water that was in there and see how everything goes. So, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.